I think the wrong team is favored in the Oregon Penn State Whiteout game on Saturday night. I'll tell you why next. Locked on Big Ten starts right now.
You are Locked On Big Ten, your daily podcast on the Big Ten Conference. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Big Ten. I'm Craig Sheeman, 40 years as a sports talk show host and play-by-play announcer, and I want to thank you for making us your first listen each and every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Hey, here's an idea. Hit that free subscribe button down below. Then you'll never miss a single episode. And if you could share, like, and follow, that helps us out too. Thank you. And you can hype YouTube videos as well. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if that bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Download the app today. So the Whiteout, it's a big deal. We're all excited. Oregon and Penn State. Got some things you need to know about that. Plus, our players of the week. Take a look at some news and our power rankings. We've updated them as we do every Wednesday, 1 through 18. Where does your team rank? We got some movers and shakers there. But first, Penn State is a 3.5-point favorite as of right now to win Saturday's matchup against Oregon. And I think the wrong team is favored. Look, I get it. I get it. This is the greatest home field advantage in college football when Penn State holds its annual whiteout game. Over 100,000 screaming fans, all wearing white under the TV lights in front of a national TV audience. It's one of the most awesome things in sports. Can't wait. Absolutely love it. It can be quite intimidating for the visiting team. Except I don't think Dan Lanning and the Oregon Ducks are the type to be intimidated, frankly. And while there are some new faces on the Ducks team this year, the Ducks are always in big games. They played Ohio State twice last year, went 1-1. They played Penn State in the Big Ten championship game last year and won. They've played some big games. And look, I know that Penn State fan won't necessarily agree with this assessment, but I hear from those that have been at Autzen Stadium, and I haven't been there yet, that the Ducks home field is every bit as loud as Happy Valley, despite the fact that it has half the amount of people. It's cozier. It's more intimate. It's just as loud the way the noise bounces down on you. So they're used to playing in front of loud crowds as well. And the one thing that I want to look at with both of these teams, I want to look at their non-conference schedules for just a moment, because I think it's telling as we get ready for this big game. Granted, the non-conference schedules for both of these teams were a little bit on the light side. They didn't play anybody real tough. I think you can say that for both teams, but at least with Oregon's schedule, look, they played Montana State. They beat them soundly. They destroyed Oklahoma State and eventually cost Mike Gundy his job. He lost his job this week. And then they had a road conference game at Northwestern, which isn't the toughest team, but it's the experience of packing up the team and traveling halfway across the country and playing in different time zones. And they go through that ritual and they survived it and they won handily. Then they came home and they played in a rivalry game against Oregon State. Now, Oregon State and Oregon are not at the same level right now, but nevertheless, my point is nobody really challenged the Ducks, but those 4 games, they embodied a bunch of different types of experiences: a road game, a rivalry game, different time zones, home games, getting everybody playing. And then Penn State, their schedule, they just included 3, I'll be honest, 3 cupcake non-conference games at home. Just simple and easy. And Nevada, FIU, and Villanova. Now, here's why I'm a little concerned for Penn State. They're going to go from playing Villanova at home, then a bye week, then play Oregon with no ramp up whatsoever. I mean, it's like they've been driving the sports car around the neighborhood, and the HOA's got posted speed signs, 15 miles an hour. You're just kind of cruising around on a Sunday drive at 15 miles an hour with all your 600 horsepower car. And then all of a sudden at 7:30 on Saturday night, you got to floor it, rev that thing and go. No warm up. And do it without a true test. And you hope the car doesn't spin out. So That's a concern I have for Penn State right now. Are they going to get off to a slow start on Saturday night? And here's another concern that I look at. When I look at this quarterback matchup, Dante Moore, remember, if you're a Penn State fan, you don't follow him very much. Look, yeah, he's the new guy this year at Oregon, but 2 years ago, he had quite a bit of playing experience as a true freshman at UCLA under Chip Kelly. Then he transferred to Oregon, sat behind Dylan Gabriel, watched the system, learned the system, and now it's his turn. And each week, he's just getting more and more phenomenal to the point where he has now inserted his name into the Heisman conversation. He's done really well. So we can look at Drew Aller at Penn State, and you can say, well, he's already in the Heisman conversation. True. We've been talking about him it was like Drew Aller and Arch Manning and all these guys that we all know, household names. And hey, Drew Aller is the most experienced quarterback in the country, and that's got to count for something. That counts for a lot, as a matter of fact. And he's already won a lot of ball games. That's got to count for something. But I'm bothered by something here this season so far against the non-conference foes that I just mentioned, particularly FIU and Villanova. Versus Florida International, he was just 19 to 33 for 200 yards, had a QBR of 57.6. Villanova, he was just 16 to 29 for 209, had an interception in there and a QBR of 19. Yeah, I added it all up these last two games, 35-62. That's a 56% completion rate. Against those teams, something's not right. In a game like that, you should be completing 75-80% of your passes. Florida International, Villanova, 56% for a veteran like Drew Aller. That's a red flag for me. Something's not right with Andy Koldenicki's offense. No, look, it's easy to suggest and write it off and say that maybe the Nittany Lions just played down to their competition. Or maybe they didn't get up for the game as much as they could. Maybe just went through the motions. That's fair. It happens. It's not good. It's not how you jump into an Oregon game doing that. It's hard to turn it on. It's hard to flip that switch. So the Penn State's definitely have to ratchet things up considerably when they get ready to take on Oregon. Now, I don't care how good you are. It's hard to turn the switch on and off. And there's another thing, and I hesitate to mention it here because it feels like piling on, but there's a monkey on the back of James Franklin about winning big games, and this is a big game. And it's only going to be magnified if he doesn't win this one. I mean, it's not the end of the world. Still have the rest of the season ahead of you. Still have a chance at a Big Ten championship game. Still definitely are in the playoff picture. So there are other big games coming up on the schedule for Penn State. But if he loses this one, it's just going to continue the narrative. Anyway, I have some concerns for Penn State going in this one. That's why I think the wrong team is favored. You can agree or disagree. I'm sure I'll hear from upset Penn State fan than we are and all that. I get it. Probably get some Go Ducks as well. Either way, I will tell you. And if you're with us each and every day, we're here every day. If you're here once in a while, in addition to being here every day, Monday through Friday, we go live on Saturdays. And we always pick a key game and we go live for immediate reaction. My immediate reaction, your immediate reaction, because I can see your real lifetime comments and we share those back and forth. This is the game we're going to go live after, of course. It's a no-brainer. So 7:30 tip-off Eastern time, 4:30 Pacific. That means at about 11 p.m. Eastern or 8 p.m.-ish Pacific, we're going to go live right here on Locked On Big Ten, and we invite you to join us with your comments and your post-game reaction as well right here. Anyway, any thoughts about today's podcast, let me know. Hit me up with the comment section. Be sure to subscribe, and that way you'll never miss a single episode. If you could share, follow, and like Locked On Big Ten, that would be great as well. Don't forget, we have our website, talkbig10.com, where all of our podcasts go, and you can catch up and check out yesterday's podcast, for example, for a second listen. We also have links where you can buy your favorite Big Ten merchandise, get a Penn State shirt, an Oregon pennant, hat, all this right there at talkbig10.com. Still have a lot I want to do here. We got multiple players of the week I want to highlight around the Big Ten. Got another coaching suggestion for UCLA football, and we'll unveil our latest brand new power rankings, 1 through 18, all 18 football teams. All that's coming up in 1 minute right here on Locked On Big Ten. Mazda crafts cars for those who choose to do more than simply move. They follow what moves them every time they drive. And that's what makes Mazda stand out. They go beyond safety and style and performance, and they deliver a driving experience that feels alive in every detail. They have safety. They have details with how the cars are put together, metallic accents, Napa leather. You can feel it the minute you get behind the wheel there. That's something special going on, whether it's a quick drive to practice or to the store or maybe a long road trip over the weekend. It's the small details that make the big plays in sports. And just like there's more to every player, there's more to a Mazda vehicle. Mazda, move and be moved. Do you know where all your money is? Is it in a bank? Is it in an app? Can you check it out here? Probably all over the place, right? Well, you could bring all your finances together all into one place with Monarch Money. Whether your 401ks or your properties or your investments, put it all in one place, one app together. And that way you'll have the full picture. And that way you end up not leaving so much money on the table. That's why there's Monarch Money. It's an all-in-one personal financial tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean, easy-to-use interface on your laptop or your phone. And look, Monarch is built for people with busy lives. And if you keep putting off organizing your finances, this is for you. Monarch is for you. Helps you get organized, and your spouse or your significant other's information. You pull it all together all in one place so you can get the whole financial picture right there. Don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use the code LOCKEDONCollege at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with the code LOCKEDONCollege. Thanks for checking us out here on Locked On Big Ten and making us your first listen each and every day. We're free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Also, you can check out our website, talkbig10.com. We are keeping an eye on the UCLA coaching situation. We find this story very interesting, obviously, and this is all following the dismissal of Deshaun Foster after just 3 games this year. Look, we've already speculated on a list of candidates here on Locked On, and there's some other people out there that are starting to promote the idea of D'Anton Lynn. D'Anton Lynn is a former Bruins defensive coordinator, and then last year he flipped over across town to USC to become their defensive coordinator for Lincoln Riley, and we've mentioned him. I saw SI and The Athletic. They had it. It seems like this guy's got a little momentum and being mentioned as a front runner, talking about his ability to improve defense, which he did at UCLA, and he did somewhat, of course, at USC as well. He has great attention to detail, and people like him. So, before he came to UCLA and USC for those assistant gigs, his resume is full of NFL stops, actually. A lot of NFL background, coaching with the Ravens, the Texans, the Chargers, the Bills, the Jets. And I think that would be a positive thing in recruiting young kids. I think they get excited if you have some ties to the NFL, which is where they all dream of going as well. One Big Ten coach is defending Deshaun Foster, and that's Nebraska head coach Matt Rule. He said recently, he reminded everybody that he was once upon a time, Rule was a grad assistant at UCLA. And when he was there, Deshaun Foster was a player there at that time. So they crossed paths. They've somewhat kept in touch over the years here and there. And so he has known him for a long time. And he feels he was not given enough time by UCLA. That was really unfair. And look, 15 games is not enough. And it would be hard to rule against Matt Rule's thoughts on that, is what I would say about that. All right, in the middle of the week, we always like to highlight and give kudos to the Big Ten Players of the Week. We have co-offensive Players of the Week. Let's start out with Fernando Mendoza, Indiana. 21 of 23 passing, 267 yards, and tied a career high of 5 touchdown passes in a victory over number 9 Illinois. 63-10, just blew the doors off. And back-to-back weeks of throwing 5 touchdown passes. The guy's on fire. He's now a Heisman favorite out of nowhere. So been pretty good lately, getting some people's attention. Of his 21 completions on Saturday, 14 were for either a first down or a touchdown, and he finished the game with 15 straight completions. Pretty good. By the way, the last Indiana player to win this award was just last week with Omar Cooper Jr. with his 10-catch, 200-yard, 4-touchdown performance against Indiana State. The other player is a player that we told you is going to be a breakout player in the Big Ten this year, Damon Williams Jr., the quarterback of Washington. He accounted for 5 touchdowns himself as they won the Apple Cup over Washington State, 59-24, completed 16 of 19, 298, 4 touchdowns, no picks, rushed for 88 yards, and had a touchdown as well on the ground with 13 carries. His 84% completion percentage was good for 8th in Washington single game history. It's been phenomenal. And they're racking up all sorts of players getting these awards. Jonah Coleman got it a couple of weeks ago. He's just been absolutely amazing. Defensive player of the week, Daniel Wingate from Maryland. That's right. He led Maryland with 11 tackles, got a sack, 1.5 tackles for loss, had a quarterback hurry as the Terps went into Camp Randall and beat Wisconsin, held them to just 10 points. Wingate leads the Big Ten in total tackles, by the way, with 39. That's 5th in the nation. And he has recorded 10 or more tackles in 3 of his 4 games so far this year. And then the Big Ten special teams player of the week, Caden Weegan of Iowa. You knew that he'd be in there. Tied an Iowa record with a 100-yard kickoff return for a touchdown on the game's opening kickoff to beat Rutgers 38-28 on Friday night last week. It was the 6th 100-yard kickoff return in school history for a touchdown. 2nd of Weegan's career, making him the 2nd Hawkeye to return an opening kickoff for a touchdown. C.J. Jones did it in 2003, if you remember that name. And Caden Weegan was the last Iowa player to win this award. He did it a week ago. There's another special teams player in the Big Ten, Dominic Zavada from Michigan. Great steady kicker, and he converted field goals of 21, 46, and 56 in Michigan's 30-27 victory against Nebraska. The 56-yarder matched his career long. And also, he's hit 56-yarders 4 times. That he can definitely do it. He's been 8 for 8 in his career kicks beyond 50 yards. Super reliable. And then our freshman of the week, who else? Malik Washington at Maryland. So he threw for 265 yards and caught up for 3 touchdowns, no interceptions in Maryland's 27-10 win over Wisconsin. So Maryland had a offensive player of the week and defensive player of the week just from that game up at Wisconsin. Had a 62-yard pass to Shalik Knotts. That's the longest of his career. It's a short career. His career's 4 games. He's very proud. Got over 1,000 passing yards already this year. And he is the first Big Ten quarterback to throw for 250 or more yards in his first 4 career games this century. Very impressive. So here's another sidebar. I've been telling you a couple of guys to watch. Freshman of the year, obviously Malik Washington at Maryland, and Bryce Underwood at Michigan. And they both look very similar in stature. They're both like 6'4", 6'5", 230 pounds. Both have rocket arms. Both are getting a lot of attention. Bryce Underwood got a lot more attention being the number 1 recruit in the country and now playing for Michigan. But Malik Washington, my eyeball test, I think Malik Washington's a little better right now. And Malik Washington has won the Big Ten Freshman of the Week 3 times now. Bryce Underwood's won it the other time. And I predicted that they would kind of alternate throughout the season, and then we'd see who the Big Ten Freshman of the Year is going to be. It's going to be one of those 2 guys. Right now, Malik Washington has the inside track on that. Pretty interesting. All right, coming up, we got our power rankings. You know, we always have a feature at the end of our podcast. Tuesdays or Mondays, we do our top 10 Big Ten observations of the weekend. Tuesdays, we do Tuesday tweets. Wednesdays, we power rank, and during season, we power rank the standings as we think they should be, 1 through 18. We'll see where your team is. Tomorrow, we'll do our Big Ten Classics and live action. And Friday, we go on the record with our pigskin picks. Now, I know earlier today, we talked about how I thought the wrong team was favored in the Oregon-Penn State game. We'll make it official with our pigskin picks. Give me a couple of days just in case something happens. We'll do all that. But coming up next, we'll have our power rankings, 1 through 18, Big Ten football teams. Where's your team on that list? That's next here on Locked On Big Ten. So the NFL season is here. Been a pretty exciting start to the season already, and it can be more exciting with FanDuel. FanDuel helps you get ready for your next kickoff. They've got a can't-miss offer right now. New customers can bet just $5. And if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. And you can do anything: point spreads, point totals, over-unders, futures, all that kind of stuff, player props, parlay them all together. It's super easy to find them all on their app, and you get paid back right away when you come in as a winner. So if you're ready to play, download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com and get started. That's FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet. Once again, that's FanDuel.com. Thanks for checking us out here on Locked On Big Ten and making us your first listen each and every day. All right, we're going to put this on the screen, okay? Just our power rankings, and we'll start off with the first 10. And if you are audio only, if you're on Apple or Spotify, no problem. Just describe it. Actually, I've got it backwards there. There we go. So we're starting off with Ohio State at number 1. They have the bye week. They're number 2 in scoring defense. 5.3 points per game. And they got Washington this week. That's going to be a good test for both of those teams. I've got the Oregon Ducks sitting at number 2, so no change at number 1 and number 2. Dante Moore, 4 touchdown passes last week versus Oregon State to 4 different receivers, and they got the big one against Penn State. I did move Indiana up to number 3. Moved them up 2 spaces after that 63-10 win over Illinois, who I had ranked ahead of them. Got to move Indiana up. And yeah, that comes at the cost of Penn State. That was because Penn State was in that spot. Had to drop Penn State down 1, even though they didn't play. But Fernando Mendoza has 5 touchdown passes. He's now, actually, Vegas has him as the leading odds favorite for winning the Heisman. So Indiana is hot as a firecracker right now. I've got them at number 3, Penn State at 4, no fault of their own. They got that bye coming off the Villanova game. They've outscored their opponents in the 3 wins, 132-17. Again, I did mention earlier how I have a little bit of a concern of Drew Aller and his efficiency the past couple of weeks, so he's got to ramp it up against the Oregon Ducks. Meanwhile, I've got Washington sitting at number 5. They moved up 1 after their Apple Cup win, and all this team does is score. I feel bad for the punter at Washington because he's never on the field. Washington has just so many weapons between Coleman and Boston and Williams. They're just phenomenal. So keep an eye on Washington. Big movers here. And also USC. I got the Trojans at number 6. I moved them up 2 after they beat Michigan State. This offense is explosive. They 500 yards of offense. But you know what's too bad? It's too bad USC and Washington don't play this year, because I think that would be a offensive explosion like you've never seen before. Got Michigan at number 7. That's the same place they were last week when they came off that 63-3 win over Central Michigan. They got by Nebraska 30-27. They're on a bye now. Get ready for Wisconsin. I got Maryland at number 8. And the Terps, they're big movers. They moved up 3 spots to number 8 after beating Wisconsin on the road. They're 4-0, matching the win total from last year. And as I told you, I'm a big fan of Malik Washington. Nebraska sitting at number 9, same spot as last week. And even though they had the 3-point loss at home to Michigan, this is a good team. They can't get over the hump with ranked opponents or 1-score games. They're just stuck right here, right in the middle. I know they want to take the next step forward. Iowa got them moving up 3 spots to number 10. It looks like Mark Gronowski's figuring things out offensively. They put up 38 points last week. And Caden Weegan with the 100-yard kickoff return. So there's the top 10 of our power rankings. Let's continue here and flip the screen. The best of the rest, as I like to say. I mean, somebody's got to be on the bottom tier, but we'll take a look at this here. I got Illinois. Excuse me, Illinois. I dropped them 7. Biggest losers, biggest drop on our poll this week. Illinois at number 11 after that beatdown they took in Bloomington, 63-10. And they got a big game against USC. I want to see how they shake this off. I got Michigan State sitting at number 12 on this list. I thought they played well at USC and lost. That was a pretty good showing. They dropped 2 to number 12. Got Rutgers sitting at number 13. They dropped 1. They scored 167 points in 4 games, but they did lose by 10 to Iowa this past weekend. Minnesota sitting at number 14. They moved up 1. They had that loss to Cal. Then they were on a bye. They host Rutgers. The only reason they moved up 1 is juggling other people around. It pushed them up 1. And Purdue sitting at number 15. They moved up 1 too, even though they lost to USC and Notre Dame. They had the bye week. Again, they got pushed because I moved Wisconsin down. By the way, Purdue gets to host Illinois after their bye week. Illinois coming off Indiana, then USC. But remember, Purdue last year took Illinois to overtime and lost 50-49. As you can see, Wisconsin has dropped to number 16. I dropped them a couple. The wheels feel like they have fallen off at Wisconsin with Luke Fickell. And their next 7 games on their schedule are brutal. So brutal. Like, they might not win one of them. Yeah, it's that bad. It's a tough schedule, and things are not looking good. Northwestern and UCLA remain pat at 17 and 18. Northwestern had their loss last week to Oregon, then a bye. They've got UCLA next. Maybe we can flip this, maybe not. UCLA, this will be their first game against Northwestern, their first game since Deshaun Foster was fired, and Tim Skipper will take over as the interim head coach. So coming off that bye, get ready for that game, and maybe a fresh start for the UCLA Bruins. All right, that's our list, 1 through 18. What do you think? Did we get it right? Maybe I missed one. Maybe I should tweak it a little bit. Let me know in the comments section. I would love to hear from you on all of that. We do that every Wednesday, by the way. So a lot of movers and shakers. I feel pretty good about this list. I think we got it right. All right. Meanwhile, if you're new to us, we're here every day, all 18 teams, news, analysis of that news, and opinion of that news. We are not afraid to share our opinion on this by any means. There are many ways for you to interact with this podcast as well. There's Twitter or X at Talk Big Ten. There's our website, talkbig10.com with the number 10. All of our podcasts go there. Plus, there's school merchandise if you want to buy something, a little school spirit. Before you go, if you could hit that subscribe button for free, that way you never miss a single episode. And if you could share, follow, and like Locked On Big Ten, that'd be great as well. Also, I want to tell you that Locked On and Fire TV have partnered for all you college football fans out there with the College Football Kickoff, your ultimate college football weekly preview. Drake Toll from Locked On Big 12 anchors it, along with 2-time AP Coach of the Year Gary Patterson and former player Jesse Holley, and all of our Locked On experts coming together in one place, previewing the big games coming up on the weekend. It's a college football preview that only Locked On can do. So catch the College Football Kickoff every Thursday throughout the season, only on Fire TV. That'll do it for us. We're motoring through this week. A big weekend coming up. We're here every day. I can't wait till we talk again tomorrow. For Locked On Big Ten, I'm Craig Sheeman. See you then.